Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This episode number 860, and Doubleshot number 754. Like I said last episode, two vendor trades. First up, it is Avengers Revelations. This collects Thanos and number 1. There was actually another annual release like right after the conclusion of the last Thanos Uncanny Avengers and number 1. New Avengers Annual Volume 3 number 1. Avengers Annual Volume 4. No, not 4. Yeah, it's 4 number 1. No, it's not 4. It's more like, I think it's like 5 number 1. I think it's, yeah, 5 number 1. Now, who writes these books? The Thanos Annual was written by Thanos' creator, Jim Starlin, artwork by Rob Lim, who frequently works even on the Thanos one-shots that came right after this particular book, which that's all Thanos book Annual was doing, was set up the one-shots like Thanos Revelations, Revolution, and Finale. Yeah, set up the 4 one-shots that came right after this featuring Thanos. The Uncanny Avengers Annual is written by the regular writer of the book, one of the very few writers I can think of who actually bothers to write the annuals for his own damn book. Yeah, him along with Matt Fraction has done it for Hawkeye, and also Brian Michael Bendis has done this several times. He's actually written his own annuals. The artwork by Paul Rendon. The New Avengers Annual, which is a Doctor Strange story, by the way, that's actually done by Frank Barberie and artwork by Mark Rudy. Fantastic artwork. The Avengers Annual, despite that coming out during Hickman's run, it's not written by Hickman. Nope. It's written by Catherine Imnan and artwork by David Laflunity. Lafunity, I think it's pronounced yes. Yeah. One thing I gotta appreciate about Jim Starlin is that he has a lot of respect for Marvel continuity, and the fact he basically has a lot of respect for older material. Because he worked on it! That's why! Yeah, he referenced stuff that happened Captain Marvel. The whole annual is just the Thanos from the 70s meeting present-day Thanos, referencing stuff from Thanos Thanos Gauntlet, Thanos Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Crusade. Not mentioning Infinity War, surprisingly. No, there's no reference to it at all. I don't remember if Starlin did that one. Let me look it up here. I think he did do this one. I just want to make sure he did do it, because I know he did do Infinity War. Infinity Gauntlet. And I think he did have a hand in Infinity Crusade, which this book actually references that. Yeah, it is written by Jim Starlin, but on the artwork, Rob Lim did work on the artwork for this series. Yeah, which came out like in 1982. Yeah, but it's something though that this book doesn't reference it at all. They also reference stuff that happened in Savage Hulk number 7, which here's kind of the thing. There was no Savage Hulk number 7 because that was published as that issue, probably along with the 3 following issues. Probably, yeah. My guess is they're planning to originally publish Savage Hulk for issues 7 through 10. But here's my personal theory: what happened? They changed it that they probably liked it because Thanos was in the story, so they changed it to Hulk versus Thanos, which was drawn by Jim Starlin. Yeah, it is something though Jim Starlin does not reference Infinity War, despite the fact he wrote it. Yeah, he wrote the main event, despite the fact he doesn't reference it, which is weird. I have no idea why. It's one of the most weirdest things. Yeah, he references Infinity Crusade, but not Infinity War, the comic, of course. Yeah, he doesn't reference it at all. He also references in here the events of Annihilation when Drax killed Thanos by ripping his heart out in Mortal Kombat style. It's an overall really good annual. The Doctor Strange one, yeah, Frank Barberie proved that Doctor Strange definitely deserved his own ongoing series. And he would get one right after Secret Wars, and it's still publishing this very day. First by Jason Aaron. I believe after him it was Jim Zeb who took over briefly. Then it was Danny Costas who basically wrote the meaning. He wrote the Triple Ditch issues mostly. And then, of course, now we have currently Mark Waid on the book. It's overall a really good annual, and I think that the artist did work. I don't remember. I think this artist did work on some other stuff, but this artist is really, really good. I do highly recommend checking out this guy's work. The Uncanny Avengers annual. It's basically on the cover. Yeah, it's the Unity Squad versus the Avengers Supernatural. Who is part of this lineup? We have Blade, Man-Thing, the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Santana. And who is the Gill Man here? His name is Morphon. He is a character who's barely used by Marvel Comics. Made his debut back in the 1970s in the Monster Unleashed one-shot. Yeah, Monster Unleashed 1. He debuted there. He's popped up a few times over the years. Mostly he's part of Monster Squad. He's part of the original line, which was led by Johnny Blaze. And, of course, he's part of this. He's a character who is, like I said, barely used. I mean, this is probably, I can think of his last known appearance in Marvel Comics, because I can't think of when this guy shows up. Yeah, he's essentially put as Marvel's Gill-Man. But they can't call him the Gill-Man because I think Universal probably owns the rights to him, so they call him Morphon, which is great, which is fine. Santana. I think it's a little odd they refer to her as a succubus. She refers herself as a succubus. In the past, she's never referred to herself as that at all. Yeah, it's particularly a little weird. Yeah, I know she's a female demon, and she's the half sister of the son of Satan himself, Damien Hailstrom, but she has never referred to herself as a succubus. I mean, as far as I can tell, I don't think all female demons are succubus. Yeah, I have no idea why she refers herself that, but this whole little thing was set up by Mojo, and from the placement of this particular annual, my personal guess is it takes place between issues 6 and 8. 7 is an issue set in the past. It's probably just before the Apocalypse Twins showed up, because this particular story is just the Unity Squad just chilling at the mansion. We have Wasp and Rogue just getting some tan near the pool. Havoc going swimming. We also have Wolverine, Thor, and Captain America playing pool in the actual house itself. While in the case of Sunfire, he doesn't do anything until the battle starts. Yeah, so actually this is after Sunfire joins the group. But yeah, it's probably just after issue 5. Yeah, it's probably between issues 5 and 6. Yeah, it takes place probably just after he joined the team. And of course we have Wonder Man part of the team, where they're kind of teasing their relationship between her and of course Wonder Man, which this is going to play later. Yeah, this is probably just before this is probably just after the Unity Squad just set up. This is probably just a day off for them. And of course, finding Avengers Supernatural, which I like the concept of a supernatural team of Avengers, but this goes nowhere. As far as I can tell, Rick Remender never bothers to bring this group up again, and Marvel Comics itself has never brought this group up in their comic book. This was their sole appearance. The Avengers Annual is just a Christmas story. Yeah. It's basically a Christmas party in the Avengers Tower. That's all it is. All these annuals are really, really good. I would say probably the weakest one is probably the Uncanny Avengers. Well, actually, none of them are weak. The best one, in my opinion, is the Thanos one. That's overall the best annual because it's Jim frickin' Starlin. The guy has never written a bad story for Marvel Comics. He has written okay stuff for DC, but his Marvel stuff is fantastic. I love his Thanos stuff. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. Yep. I like the concept of a supernatural team of Avengers. I kind of wish that Marvel did this as an ongoing series to basically take something from DC to rip off something from them. But they've had supernatural teams before. But a lot of the time, they don't really financially succeed very well. And here's my theory. I don't think Marvel bothers to promote them at all. I would say probably the last known official group of supernatural characters, not counting the Avengers because it's a mix between sci-fi and supernatural stuff, of an entire supernatural-based team. I would probably say it was, and this is my theory, I think it was the Midnight Suns. Yeah, the one of Michael Morbius. Yeah, him. Yeah, that particular team. Yeah, but the last ongoing series to feature a group of supernatural characters, published Marvel Comics, was probably, as a series, was probably Witches, but the only thing else close to that as an ongoing is probably Night Stalkers. Yeah, Night Stalker is probably the last known comic book Marvel has published where it's featured a group of supernatural characters in an ongoing series. I kind of wish we had this for Marvel. I mean, we have Justice League Dark for DC. Why not their own counterpart Marvel? Seriously, the Avengers essentially put a ripoff of Justice League, so why not have ripoff of Justice League Dark? Simple as that. Next up, more Avengers stuff featuring Uncanny Avengers. We have Uncanny Avengers Volume 3 Ragnarok Now. Collecting Uncanny Avengers 12 to 17. Written by Rick Remender, artwork by Steve McNiven, Salvador Roca, and Daniel Cunha. I should point out though, Salvador Roca's artwork is a lot better here than it is in Star Wars. Like, a whole lot better. If you wonder when this issue came out, this issue came out in 2013. Yep, 2013. Let's see, the Roca just does the opening issue. Yeah, this is Salvador Roca's artwork for issue 12. Yeah, I'm like, man, why can he draw like this? This is awesome. Why was his artwork for Star Wars so terrible? It was more than a piece of garbage. Yeah, it's terrible artwork for that book. But other books, he's fine. It's just that when he did that book, he just basically drew the characters, like, faces for those characters so awfully. Yep. The Roca just does issue 12. Daniel Cunha does issue 13. And Steve McNiven does the rest of the issues. I've met Steve McNiven, fantastic guy. The cover art for pretty much the first issue 13 is done by John Cassidy and Loire Martin. The cover art for issues 14 to 17 mostly is done by Steve McNiven, with Justin Pusar for issues 14 to 16, and issue 17 is done by Dave McCraig. Yeah, here's kind of the thing when it comes to these particular issues. 12 is the only one that's actually canon, because issue 22 actually retcon from issues 13 to 21. Those deemed non-canon by that very issue. In these issues, we have it where the Avengers are still fighting the Apocalypse Twins, and like several members of the Avengers get killed off. One of the people I basically subscribe to, he hasn't done a video in a while. I think the last video he did was like a few weeks ago. Of course, it was the first video he'd done since February. Yeah, he had not put out a video since February. He actually dropped this series during these issues. Do you know the reason why? Because they killed off Rogue. Yeah, they kill off Rogue. They kill off Scarlet Witch. They kill off Captain America. I think like the only like non-mutant character they don't kill off in this storyline is the Wasp. Yeah, she's the only one who doesn't die. But yeah. But there's a character who actually does appear from... There's a couple things for Thor comics here. One, of course, is, his axe. Yeah, this big, huge axe which Jason Aaron himself created for his run for Thor. As far as I know, Thor still has his axe, but he doesn't use it anymore. No, he hasn't used it since he got a new hammer. We also have the Horseman Death versions of Banshee, Dawkins, and of course Sentry. I'm not going to give the Sentry what the heck is up with him, because he does some disgusting things in here. I mean, you have to read the book to basically understand what the heck is going with him. But yeah, aside from the hammer, there is one other character who pops up in here who made his debut in a Thor comic book back in the late 80s. He made his debut back in issue 497. Yeah, as part of a 3-part storyline, which, yeah, how he defeated this guy was by basically blowing a hole in his armor with his hammer. Let me introduce you to the Celestial Executioner. Yes, those of you curious though, is this a character created by Rick Remender? Nope, that is actually not true at all. Despite the fact Rick Remender did use in the storyline, the Celestial Executioner is not one of his creations. Oh no, it is not. He is not one of his creations at all. He is a creation of... Let's see if I can find him here. Oh my gosh, why can't you type properly? Thank you. Actually, I think it might be. Let's find. This guy's technically not appeared since this three-parter. There was another version of this character appeared in their comic book, but yeah. Let's see if I can find him on here. This particular character. Because as far as I can tell, the character's been. When who killed him, it was actually Thor himself. He killed him in the following storyline, like right after the whole reality thing is restored. Yep, if I can find it on here. Yeah, the Celestial Execution's name is Elixir. Yes, Elixir. Okay, his is. I don't think this is the same guy. I'm trying to come up in here, but the thing's not very cooperative with me. Yeah, this particular guy, like, he pretty much succeeds in destroying Earth, though this is actually reversed afterwards. Yeah, he crushes Earth by stepping on it with his foot. He gives a thumb down, and then he, like, just, then he just steps on it. He gets killed by Thor, and he's never seen again. Okay, he's a creation of Tom DeFalco and Ron Fritz. Made his first appearance in Thor 87 back in January of 1988. This character is roughly 30 years old. He was killed off only a few years ago. Yeah. And of course, we have the whole Apocalypse Twins thing. But we get the debut of a couple new teams who play a part in the storyline. We have the Infinity Watch, which is a version of the Vision who was possessed by the Phoenix Force. I think this is supposed to be Starhawk, Captain Marvel, another Starhawk. Yeah. Let me look at these characters in here. Yeah, they list off in here, but okay. The characters are Immortalist, Captain Marvel, Monex, Nova, which is a nihilist, Phoenix, who's possessed with Vision, Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock, Starhawk, and Yondu. No, not the same guy from the Guardians of the Galaxy film. We also debut of a group known as the. They don't make a debut in the storyline, but they are simply put a version. They're a group of people who become characters later on. They are consisted of Doctor Strange. Let's see if I can find them on here. Yeah, it's a group of people formed by Kang to counteract the Apocalypse Twins because they destroy 616. Yep. And those of you curious though, how does Rogue get killed? She gets stabbed by the Grim Reaper. Yep. The Grim Reaper stabs her, and this is of course Raph. after she kills the Scarlet Witch. This is after she had transported all the Earths of her ship to the spaceship that they go on to Planet X. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. Where are you? Yeah, I'm trying to find them on here. There's a group of characters who become part of the storyline, along with they have Dune 2099, a version of Deathlock pops up on here. I know I'm taking a little long to find this stuff, but okay, here we go. The Cornus Core, which is a version of Strife, Kang, Venom. This Venom is May Parker from the Earth X trilogy of books. That was a series published back in the late 90s. I do recommend it. It's a really good storyline. Yeah, it's apocalyptic future. There's Doom, Arnold Stark, aka 2020, Ahab, Magnus Braddock, who actually is the ultimate version of Betsy Braddock, aka uh, Psylocke, and of course a version of Abomination, who is a Deathlock. Mm-hmm. This issues in here are really good. I do recommend this. Only people fans recommend it. Probably not like seeing the death of Rogue and the death of Scarlet Witch in here, but these issues are good. Excuse me. Yeah, and I'm gonna give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review of the newest dub episode of Ace Attorney. Yep, but until I see you in the next review, bye.